Good afternoon, family. Thanks for checking out today's video. If you're new here, my name is Jonathan, and I created this channel as a way to record my progress as I work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds in 3 years. If you'd like to join the family, hit that subscribe button down below. Also, make sure you click on the bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And I'd really appreciate it if you hit the thumbs up on this video as well. If you'd like to participate on the discussion, you can join me most weekdays where I go live around 4 p.m. Central Time. It's been 4:15 p.m. Central Time a lot recently, and it might stay that way. But you can join my live streams. If you don't want to or you can't participate in the live streams, you can comment down below anytime. I'll respond to your questions, or you can consider joining the Discord I created. There is a link for that down in the description below. Also down in the description below is a link to a Pinterest board. A lot of times people ask me, what have I been eating to help me lose the 245 pounds I've lost so far? And that Pinterest board is a great place to see all of the recipes that I've been enjoying so far on my diet. Today is day 895 of my 3-year challenge. 3 years is 1,095 days. So that means I only have 200 days left till the end of the 3-year challenge. But so far, I've used a combination of extended water fasting and a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet to lose 245 pounds so far. If anybody has any non-scale victories that they'd like to share, I'd love to hear your non-scale victories. I also love hearing on-scale victories as well. If you are struggling with your diet, let us know what might be causing some of your struggles. Maybe we can help you out. If you're succeeding on your diet, let us know what you're doing to succeed so we can share it with the world. And at the end of the day, what are some of the things that you are doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? Let's go ahead, switch over here. Hello, hello, hello. Pretty Girl's mom, Stephanie. I hope you guys are all having a great day. It is wonderful outside here. The spring is sprung. The trees have their flowers starting to grow on them. Seeing green everywhere, really starting to see the colors and loving it. Hello, Jean. Yes, it is. Friday is a good day. Yes, Friday is a good day. Getting ready for the weekend. We got a very busy weekend ahead of us. We got a busy day tomorrow running kids around, doing things. And we also have some stuff for our nonprofit that we got going on tomorrow. So it's going to be a busy day for us and probably turn into a busy weekend because I have some things I have to do on Sunday. I have to get done. So let's see. Plants Only Muncher says it would be helpful if you would post the upcoming live sessions about 30 to 60 minutes ahead of time. I know. I wish I had the time. My intention was to post about the live stream at least 60 minutes ago. I started on that project, but I was not able to get it done till like 4:05, and I apologize about that today because I do try to get it done earlier. The last 2 days at work have been very busy, so it's been good. We've wanted it to be busy, we need it to be busy, I suppose, but it did get in the way with me getting my schedule or me getting it up today. I usually spend all day thinking about what I'm gonna try to talk about or put up on there, and so I didn't get it till late today. But let's see. I will go ahead and let's go ahead and look at food since oh, of course. Let me see. This might be on the wrong thing again. It is. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. All right. So yesterday, we had a wonderful dinner. I talk about this every time I feel like that we have a dinner like this, but we had a huge salad for dinner last night. Um, uh, I was actually going to talk about a little thing about neuroadaptation, but not in regards to this, but I guess I'll talk about this is something where uh, I never liked salad. You know, I've said it a lot of times. If I ate a vegetable, it was by accident. And so anytime there would be mention of a salad or there would be a salad bar, I would skip over it. And so when we started this diet, it was a little while before I really even, what the heck? Oh, I guess you just got to see all of that stuff. The um I just didn't like salad. I didn't like the idea of salad. Carrie would say, "Hey, we're gonna have salad tonight," and the first thought in my head would be, "Ah, salad. I wonder what else we have at home that I'll be able to eat." And then I would get home and we would make this big salad. We put it in front of us and I'd start eating it. And as I ate it, I realized how much I loved the way it tastes and how I was holding on to that old mentality that I used to have about certain foods. And now we are to the point where we have these incredibly large, and last night Carrie decided to try to make it as complex as possible. Maybe we'll play a little game here and I'll leave the photo up and see if you guys can guess how many different, oh my gosh, again, hitting buttons, how many different vegetables that we had in our salad last night. I guess I can name them as there's obviously beets there. You can see that. There's cucumbers, peas, red peppers, spinach, onions. Let's see. I'm trying to think. I have a whole list here, but if you guys can guess how many different vegetables we had in our dinner last night, maybe I'll go on. Oh, this was when Stephanie, you'll have to amend your guess, but this was actually before I added a couple ingredients because I just grabbed the salad bowl and went and sat down, and Carrie was like, "Oh, there's a couple more ingredients you forgot to put in there." And so this is actually what the salad was before I ate it. So there is a little bit of a couple extra things on there if you can tell what that is. So yeah, last night it was an incredibly complex salad. It was awesome. Stephanie changed her guess to 19. That is very close. I believe that the total amount in there was, oh, that's not the right picture. This is all the ingredients here. So there's beets, radishes, peas, carrots, corn, zucchini, cucumber, cauliflower, romaine lettuce, spinach, kale, cabbage, red bell pepper, quinoa, celery, purple onion, and then blueberries that I put on there. And so, yes, that was, I believe it's 18. No, 17. 17 items. So, well, you know what though? Your first guess plus the two ingredients that I put on there, the blueberries and the beets, was pretty darn close the first time there. So, yes. So it was an incredibly complex salad. I think Carrie just decided to challenge herself yesterday just to see how many different vegetables she could get in our salad last night. And it was amazing. And the other thing is I didn't put any dressing on it. It was just, this is actually probably a better photo of it there because it's all mixed up. But this is just the vegetables. I didn't put any vinegars on it. I didn't season it with anything. The only thing I did do after I took the photos is I added more blueberries, because the blueberries are one of the main reasons why I didn't need to put any dressing or anything on it. I'm sure it probably took me 20 plus minutes to eat this salad. But it was awesome. It was great to have. And I've changed my mindset about salad. When Carrie, she said it on stream, I think, that we were going to have salad yesterday. My dopamine started firing in excitement instead of having whatever it is, whatever fires when you're dreading things. Stephanie says, nice job, Carrie. Yes, that was awesome. It was a great dinner last night. Very filling as well. So I did eat a lot of oranges though. We had a couple bags of oranges at the house, and I throughout the night probably ate 6 or 7 of them at least last night. Oh, we did try one other thing because of the recommendation. I think it was Sarasota, Florida, had mentioned yesterday of mixing bananas and potatoes together. So I don't know what me and Carrie kind of went back and forth about even trying it. And I was like, well, we can just give it a shot. You know, it's not a big deal. And we weren't exactly sure how that they had prepped them, but Carrie had decided to blend the banana, and then we were kind of like, well, were we supposed to mash it into it or just put it on there? And so we ended up actually blending all of it, and I wouldn't recommend it that way. It did almost turn out like a pudding. So I suppose that you could add maybe some more flavors, or if we might have had the perfect mix of potatoes to bananas. We weren't really sure. We only had one really good ripe banana. We weren't sure if we should put that on a couple. I think we have a couple potatoes that we mixed it with. So, but we tried that. I don't know if we'll try it again. We won't try it again that way. If there's a different way to try it, we might try. But then today I had broccoli. This was my breakfast that I ate at 1 p.m. today. That's kind of the day I've had today. So that was when I had my breakfast. And then the second half of my breakfast was oatmeal with spinach, onions, and mushrooms, like we always do. Pretty Girl's mom says, looks good. Yes, the salad was amazing, and it tasted amazing as well. And so let me put the food away here. So I mentioned a little bit about the neuroadaptation with my food, like with the salad, and kind of having that change in mindset or change in how I see things. And another thing that I just was going to briefly mention today, because I think that neuroadaptation is something that's pretty interesting, that I knew about, I guess, or I understand the concept of, but when I think about it from what I learned from the Pleasure Trap book, where they talk about how your taste buds take time to adapt. It takes time for your brain to rewire. It's not going to just rewire overnight. And even the things that you think are going to rewire quickly may take longer than you think. You know, like it may only take a couple weeks to get used to the food change, you know, or it may take you a month or two to get used to the food change. It just depends on who you are and how wired your brain is to eat the other way, because you're changing how your brain is wired. And so I really think it's interesting when it comes to food, and your taste buds changing, but then the bigger picture of it, like, it's not just that, you know, like, cause I knew that the salad tasted good, but it took a while for the idea of just eating salad to set in. Like there was nothing in the salads that I was worried that I wasn't going to, like, but it was the idea of having a salad. So it took longer for that neuroadaptation to happen. But anyways, a real kind of simple one that I noticed today because I was doing a little bit of research. Today I've been kind of this day 895. It really puts that kind of finish line of the 3 years right in my face, so I was looking back at some older videos that I had done, and I don't really have a way to pull up a bunch of examples here, but I can show this one here, and it's a real fuzzy photo, of course. But when I was looking at all of my videos, I couldn't help but notice my beard and like looking at it in a different way. And almost as if I'm looking at a different person now, kind of the same way when I first shaved, I felt like I looked like a different person. My kids looked at me and I looked like a different person and they were telling me to put it back on, but now that I've had my beard shaved and it's only been 2 weeks, I'm seeing how it's starting to feel weird for me to see myself with a beard now. And then I look at the videos and I notice when my beard looks good or my beard looks awful here. I needed to have trimmed my beard. And I in the moment, it was just the way my face looked. So when my beard was a little bit scruffier, I didn't really notice it much different than when it looked clean. And Carrie says, hello. Carrie says, woo, I got busy and forgot to tune in. No worries. I got started late. And I'm talking a little bit about neuroadaptation. And I'm talking about how we neuroadapt with all different types of things, not just with our food taste buds, but also with how we see things. And, I see myself without a beard more now. So I look more like, I'm more familiar with that. And I'm sure everybody's had examples of that, like in their life where somebody they knew didn't wear glasses and then their eyesight got worse. And so then they started wearing glasses. So then when you first saw them, you're like, oh, they look really different with glasses on. And then after 4 years, they walk around and they don't have their glasses on and you're like, wow, you look really different. And so, but it's that time, we want things to happen so instantaneously. There's so many things that happen instantaneously because when it happens instantly, that means it was easy. And we are always looking for an easier way to get things done. It's part of what drives all creatures is that conservation of energy. It's one of the motivational triad that they talk about in the Pleasure Trap book. So, but I just wanted to kind of mention that, how just where I see it in other aspects of my life, not just with how it has helped me with my diet. So the thing I was going to talk about, and I've mentioned it a couple times yet here already, is I have 200 days until the 3-year deadline some dumbass set on me 895 days ago. So I think, what does it say here? Will I make it or do I even care? Well, I don't know if I will or won't make it. There's a possibility that I could still make it. But even if I don't know that I care so much. And I'm going to kind of explain why I've come to that conclusion and what I feel the result of my diet could potentially be and what I hope is the possible outcome here. Glow's checking in saying, hello, Glow. I hope you're having a great day today. So we are, so like I said, I went back and I looked at some of my older videos and kind of some of my weights as I've been going on with this challenge. And so I think the best thing to do is give some history of the weight loss. And so a lot of you know I started in November of 2020. I did a water fast through the month of November, and then I pushed myself to go into December with the water fast, completing it after a little over 41 days. I did a 1,000-hour water fast. That's what number I decided to end on. And so in that time, I went from 519.8 pounds down to 430 pounds. I lost 90 pounds in 41 days, and the weight loss was incredible. At that time, I switched to eating a whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet, eliminating a lot of processed foods, but still having some foods in my diet that I shouldn't, or I don't have in my diet anymore, that were higher in calorie density. But from the end of the water fast until day 668, so what I guess that was about the 11-month mark, was where it would have been, yeah, it was, wait, let me think. I have it written down here now, and then I'm questioning how I have it written. So it was 520, lost 90, 11 months later, I'm 319 pounds. So yeah, that would be day 668. I was 319 pounds 11 months later. And so I lost 200 pounds in about 11 months, and was feeling amazing, really happy with how my diet was going. You know, kind of at the time, it was less than a year into my diet, and I was already 200 pounds down. So I definitely let my foot off the gas pedal. And for the next 11 months, I was planted firmly in what I guess I will call the struggle bus, where I would stay compliant for 6 days or 10 days, or, you know, maybe even 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But I would have a day where it was, I gave myself, you know, some reason to give in to the temptation of eating processed foods. And the thing I would have to say is that because the days I wasn't eating the junk food, I was eating high volume of, you know, low calorie dense foods. That was what really was allowed me to do that. If I was going from having some snacksident or having, you know, giving into some temptation and then going to a diet of starvation, I never would have been able to stay away from the temptation. And so from day 668 until day 895, I didn't do this math here. So 895. So that was month 29. That's a lot longer than I was thinking. What's day 668? Day 668 is the 22-month mark. Okay. So I had that off. So 11-month mark, and then day 668 was the day that I reset my diet. So I'm sorry. I said day 668 was 11 months, and it was actually like day 330 was the 11-month mark where I hit the struggle bus, or I bought a ticket for the struggle bus, and I hung out there for 11 months. And so from day 330 to day 668, I went from 310 pounds to 320 pounds. So yeah, I was off about that. I had lost 210 pounds in the first 11 months, and then gained 10 pounds back in the second 11 months. And so then on day 895, which was August 31st of 2022, I started what I called my Diet 2.0, where I recommitted to the salt, oil, sugar-free part of my diet and said, I don't care about anything else. I'm drawing the line, the line in the sand at salt, oil, sugar. And since that day, which was day 800, or I'm sorry, just forget about all the day numbers I'm saying, because I'm screwing them all up. So since day 668, when I started Diet 2.0 on August 31st, I was 319.4 pounds. It has been 227 days, and now I am 275 pounds. So I have lost 44 and a half pounds about in the last 227 days since I started Diet 2.0. So if I look at how much weight I've lost since I started the second part of my diet, I've lost about 0.2 of a pound per day. If I look at the 200 days that I have left, then it's going to take me, I did my math off of, let's see, I have 55 pounds to go till I get to my goal weight. And if I lose it at 0.2 of a pound per day, then what did I do? Oh, I hit the wrong button. What am I doing wrong? 55 pounds to go. Divided by 0.2. That's, yeah. Take me 275 days. That's right. Okay. So that means it'll take me 75 days past the 3-year mark to get to my goal weight if I continue to lose weight at the same rate that I've been doing since I've started or since I've done my reset. Gene says 3 ounces a day. Whatever 0.2 of a pound is that sounds about right. Yeah, maybe a little bit over 3 ounces. And so it would take me 275 days to lose the remaining 40 or 55 pounds that I have to lose. And that puts me 75 days past the 3-year deadline that I set for myself arbitrarily when I started this challenge. So I don't care about the 200 days. It might happen. It could. Who knows what this summer will bring, how the weight loss will happen this summer. But so my overall weight loss since starting this is 245 pounds, and I've been doing it for 895 days. So I'm at 0.27 has been my average since the very beginning. Now that includes my 41-day water fast where I lost 90 pounds. So if you said I lost 155 pounds, and that was, let's see, the 895 minus 40 would be 855. It goes way down if I did that math right. I think I did. The 855 days, 155 pounds. So overall, if you exclude my water fast, I've been losing at 0.18, which is very close to 0.2. And since I've done this reset, I've been at 0.2. So Sarasota says, you just had your potato bowl. You're good now. I did show it on the photos earlier. My phone's not connected here. We did try to mix potato and banana last night. We definitely didn't do it probably the right way. We blended everything and it ended up turning out like almost like a pudding. But yeah, we tried it and it was interesting. I think that we'd have to get the mix right, especially the way we did it. I'm sure if you're just blending the banana and pouring it on the potato, you can kind of mess with the ratio maybe a little bit better than we just kind of threw everything in the blender because I don't know why. That's what happened. Gene says, you listen to another member of the Something Feeling Fabulous Over 40 group. They lost a half pound per month at the end of her weight loss journey. Yeah. That's the thing, is that I would love to have lost the weight fast. And I was loving it when I was losing the weight fast at the very beginning. But that, I've done that so many times. I've had such great success very quickly, but as soon as I would hit that struggle bus, I would punch a permanent ticket and I'd never get off, and this diet has allowed me to figure out what I needed to do to get back on diet. I continued to practice overcoming temptation, and I continue to practice overcoming temptation. When I see things that I know would have tempted me in the past, I almost laugh at them now. In fact, there's a thing I'll show. I haven't shown this. You would have to be a serious follower to have any knowledge of this. When I started my diet, I did the water fast. And before I started the diet, I kind of had you know what? I'm not going to eat at the time I thought it was 30 days. I'm not going to eat for 30 days. I'm just going to eat whatever I want, leading up to the start of this challenge. And so one of the when I was doing my fast, I ended up because I had been doing that kind of eating whatever I wanted, I inadvertently put a big temptation in front of myself while I was water fasting. So I was water fasting. It was November. I was driving from my house to work and the sun was in my eyes. And so I ended up, I had like a little compartment on the roof of my vehicle that I could just hit the button and there'd be drop down and you grab your sunglasses. So I hit that button and the thing pops down and there's not sunglasses there, but what falls like right into my lap is this candy bar right here. And this is a Snickers crunchy peanut butter candy bar. It's really not a candy bar I would have even bought a lot of, but I know I was, like I said, I was just kind of binging before I started this diet. And so I went to the gas station. I probably bought a couple candy bars and this was like, oh, this will be a 4 later candy bar. So I threw it up in that compartment, didn't think about it for 2 weeks, got on my water fast. And, this is something, that after I started my fast, this particular thing had never tempted me, but I laugh when I see it. So I was shocked by it. And so I kept it, like I was like, this will be kind of like a little kind of, that was, in fact, what I think I said in the old video, that's what the asshole version of myself did to try to sabotage the diet that I was about to go on, because, there was a lot of me that just didn't want to do it. I didn't have to do this. This was voluntary. I didn't have a terminal diagnosis or anything like that. And so, So then, so now when I see temptations, when I see things like this around, or we got a break room where there's all kinds of different candies, when they're not free of animal products, since I've started this, I've had no issue. Like the removing the dairy and the butter from my diet, and let me see the skim milk, the lactose, the milk fat. Let me see the more lactose, palm oil, dextrose, glycerin, more skim milk. It's in there twice. Hydrogenated cottonseed oil, egg whites, all these things, like, and look at all those ingredients. Like, it's just crazy. Like, it's supposed to be chocolate, peanut butter, and nuts. Well, and then whatever nougat is, right? I think that's what the right here. This is, look at this. Here you go. You want to see the ingredient list that they want people to see? That's the ingredient list. It's got peanut butter, caramel, peanuts, nougat, and milk chocolate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ingredients. That's what they're telling you with the side of this thing. But wait, let me see here. They got, okay, so they got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 to 20 different ingredients in this, but that's what they see. This is the marketing that we put up with our whole lives. This is the stuff. This was some clever idea that somebody got paid millions to do, to put it right there. It's just right next to the nutrition facts, and then how convenient is that? The candy bar folds over the nutrition facts. So now you have to do that to see what the nutrition facts is. You think that's by accident? You think that is, you don't think they could have figured out how to put it on this side and then put this little stamp here or something, the thing that says eat Snickers, the customer service number, they could have put that under the flap, but yeah. And just, it's ridiculous, the things like they want you to be happy with how low the sodium is, how low the sugar is. You know why the sodium and the sugar is so low is because they got crap in it like calcium carbonate and dextrose and glycerin, like that's why they don't have to put the sugar and the salt in this stuff. But yeah, this stuff doesn't tempt me. This hasn't tempted me since I started. That I don't care about. Sonia says that Snickers bar. Yeah, wow. Yes. It's probably pretty expired now, maybe, but that's probably one of those end of the world foods that'll be good in 200 years, when people are going through the rubble of what's left. But the stuff that has tempted me since I've started this diet is the processed foods that have the salt, the oil, and the sugar in them. There's other chemicals, like Gene says here, these foods, they have chemicals, they may as well be a drug, and in many ways they are. They're legal drugs. Like they alter the way people feel. And we see it. We know it alters the way people feel because we talk about when you give your kids a bunch of sugar, what happens to them. Your kids get all amped up. They get all crazy. Well, some kids get all amped up and all crazy. Kids that aren't used to eating sugar and eating natural sugars, they get all amped up and crazy. But but we know it, we see it, and we are okay with it. We're like, yeah, sugar's an okay drug. Sugar's an okay drug. Salt's an okay drug. Oil, that's an okay drug. Oil, drugs are substances that we find or create that create unnatural reactions in our bodies. There's good drugs, there's bad drugs. We call good drugs medicine, we call bad drugs poison. Well, the sugar and the salt industry doesn't like the word poison running around, so they're not going to bring that up. But yeah, so I spent that whole time between day 330 and day 668 going, struggling with these temptations and learning how to walk by them. Putting things in place that made it easier to walk by them. The big thing that I feel like keeps me from eating the kids' junk food is the fact that we have a hanging basket on our pantry door that has bananas, apples, and oranges on it. So I would have to choose to go past the bananas, the apples, and the oranges to grab a bag of their chips, or grab, something that we might have that has salt, oil, sugar in it that I might want. I create an environment that I am able to avoid those temptations easier. And by making that easy, I give myself a chance to win that fight. Like that's the biggest thing, is that you have to, being on a diet like this, being on any diet where you're like, if you get to the point where you were like me, like you're 500 pounds, you're 400 pounds, you're 100 pounds overweight, even, like your diet, the way you eat is disordered. There's something wrong with the food that you're eating. And the idea that you're going to go from not knowing how to eat at all to being perfect, or to being even close to being even 90% good, is in comparison today, my diet today, in comparison to my diet on day 60, it's similar, but it's different. On day 60, I was eating Ezekiel breads, and I was eating nut butters, and I was eating dehydrated mango, and I was eating avocados. We're eating things like that. And those are all things that I had to learn not to eat anymore. I had to learn to get them out of my diet. And it took me, 11 months of being, of struggling, but also holding a line. Like that was something that I always felt like I really liked about what ended up happening in the second year of this diet, was that when I switched my diet, it was so drastic that I almost felt like there was levels of change I could have made that I went way past them. The first level of change that I made was eliminating animal products from my diet. And then the next level of change I made was eliminating oil from my diet, and eliminating salt from my diet, and eliminating sugar from my diet. And then I was at this point where I was eating this whole food, plant-based, salt, oil, sugar-free diet. And then I let my guard down. I ate a real salty meal. That was the first thing that I broke my diet with, was a salty meal and a sugary drink, I imagine. I'm not even sure what I had to drink, but and then I continued to let the salt and the sugar and the oil too, they were all in that meal. Like that meal we ate was we were at a restaurant because we were out of town, and so it had all of them in there. But it was still, I didn't cross that line of eating animal products. And so then throughout the 11 months, I would hold the lines of maybe not having oil for a little bit, but allowing myself to have something that was sugary or something that was salty. But the line that I always held was the no animal products. And so even though I was failing my strict version of my diet, I was still succeeding in the change of my way of eating. Like that was something that's at the end of all of this. That's what my goal was at the beginning, is to change the way I eat and the food that I eat. I knew that it wasn't right how much I felt like it wasn't right how much food I was eating. What wasn't right was how many calories I was consuming, because the volume of my food was so dense with calories that it just happened naturally. I still eat a very large volume of food. The salad that we ate last night in a container would take up a lot more room, or as much room as the fast food meals that I would have eaten. So my volume is still very high. It's just the calorie count that I had to bring down. And throughout the second 11 months up until day 668, I got to continually practice. It was like going out and, practicing your biking once a week, like it wasn't intentional, but it's kind of what happened, like once a week I would go out and I would practice on how to get back on my diet. Like, and it wasn't how it felt at the time, but it's what I look back and realize what I was doing. Like I was realizing that I didn't have to go through the same diet struggles that I went through in the past. I learned that I didn't have to suffer through these temptations and the unending ability to not give in to them. And another big part of it was that our environment was so clean and we had so much food to eat when we were at home. So, throughout that 11 months, we still never made anything for ourselves that was, I guess I hadn't really thought of that. Everything that we bought in that time period was purchased, prepared by other people food. Like, yeah, so at home we were still clean. So maybe that was one of those other lines that we didn't cross, was that we didn't cross it with the food that we ate at home. Like we always kept our food on plan. But it was when we traveled, or if we had a busy weekend, that we would allow that to be a reason for us to take a momentary break from our diet. And now that I've been clean and sober again for 227 days, my goal right now is to get past that 330-day mark, that 11-month mark, because that's the longest that I held on to the salt, oil, sugar-free part of my diet, was 330 days. And so I got about 103 days until that point. Set a reminder, day 898 or 7. What did I say? I don't remember what I even said. So, that's my goal now, is to continue to work towards my goal of losing 300 pounds with no end date. Even, if I continue to do things at the exact rate that I'm doing them, or I seem to be doing them based off my rough numbers, it's going to be an extra 3 months. And when I think about how much time that really is in the grand scheme of it all, that ain't nothing. 3 extra months to lose weight. I mean, that's, there was 36 months in the whole thing. And so let me see. So it's less than 10% more time that it's going to take me. Hey, Biggie. Hello, everyone. Hello, Biggie. I hope you're having a great day today. Just talking about my road to 300 pounds. If I'd be able to make it by the end of year 3, or if I even care, which it's really that I don't care. Because in the grand scheme of it, that extra 75 days it may take me, or the extra 90 days it may take me, or the extra 200 days it may take me, isn't that big of a deal in the grand scheme of things, because I feel very strongly that I am sitting on borrowed time, or I'm sitting on reclaimed time or something, because had I not made changes at 519.8 pounds, I would not have lived out the full extent of what I think is possible for me to live. I don't think anybody would have been surprised at any point that if they heard that I had had a heart attack. And I was very close to having serious health conditions or issues that by making these changes, I feel like I've added years and years and years onto my life. And if I look at, I'm a little over 40 years old. If I live another 40 years, what is that 3 months out of that 480 of the months that I'm going to continue to live, right? So, I'm not that worried about it. I'm actually very excited that I even came that close to getting it done in 3 years, and that 3 years in, I'm not sitting here pulling my hair out trying to figure out how I'm going to get to the end, because I have the roadmap in front of me. I have the plan in front of me, and I'm not struggling now. I'm not having issues with temptation. I'm not having issues with trying to figure out how to eat my food. You know, like I said, when you first start eating a way like this, or any way that's completely different, even when you think you're perfect, you're probably not eating as perfect as you'll need to eat when you get closer to your goal. Just like I started to say that, you know. Glow says it's going to be really quite an accomplishment, you know. Yeah, that's my goal. Like I had a lot of confidence in myself that I would be able to lose weight when I started this, because, you know, I've never had a problem losing weight. My worry was always whether or not I would make it to the 3-year mark. And maybe that's the thing I need to talk about celebrating, is that I made it to 3 years where I still continue to make healthful changes that entire time. Not all of the choices I made over the past 895 days were the best choice that I could have made, but they were better choices than the previous version of me ever would have made. So that is something that I can kind of hold on to and say that when I hit that 3-year mark, that's the longest I've been focused on my health. That's the longest I've been trying to do something about it. In the past, I would try to do something about it for 9 months or 6 months or 3 months, or I may even just try and doing something for 7 days or 1 day or even 30 minutes, where I'm like, today's the day I'm going to diet. And then I stop at a fast food restaurant on the way in. You know, like I used to struggle to chain together a half an hour of being on a diet. And now I'm sitting here at 895 days on my diet. And I think that's pretty awesome. And it's not how I thought it was going to be at all. 0% like I thought it was going to be. Rebecca says, you think it's cool, all the different things that I've learned along the way? Yes, that's another part of this. If you are, you know, listening to this and you're thinking about doing something, educate yourself. There's so many, you know, videos you can watch, but they only give you so much information. I really feel like the books that I took the time to listen to on audiobook and absorb that material, that has been a huge factor in my success. That has continued to reinforce what my feelings were. It reinforced how I had everything. Just it reinforced my commitment to the diet by listening to all of those books that are down in the description below. You know, The Pleasure Trap, Eat to Live, the How Not to Die, How Not to Diet Whole, Fiber Fueled, The Future of Nutrition, Secret to Ultimate Weight Loss, you know, all of those books, the education that I put myself through in the first 2 years of doing this diet, that has been something that I feel like anybody should be willing to do some of. You know, I think that we do all this research pre-diet. You know, you look into whether or not you're gonna do the diet, but then once you start doing the diet, you give up doing the research and you start trying to do it by feel. And you can get by with some things by feel, but when you have doctors that are backing you up, it really helps. Biggie says, if I am determined like you, trust me, you will go for Miss Canada within a year. And then there's so much confused information. You know, it's the committed, like, and I mentioned it a little bit earlier, the volume of food I eat keeps me on my diet. The volume of food that we have at our house, that we eat for our dinners, that we make for ourselves, that I have for breakfast, the potatoes and the broccoli that I eat for lunch, it makes it easy to stay on this diet. Like, I don't have any, like, I get it a lot. You know, I wish I had the willpower that you have. I'm not any different. Really, I'm not. I'm changed the food that I eat, and I've made the world adapt to me, because we've spent our whole lives adapting to what the world puts in front of us. And we don't do that anymore. We got rid of the convenience of the food because the convenience food was killing us. And when you notice something is killing you or something is poisoning you, you have to cut it out of your life and you have to abstain from it completely. The myth of a little bit of something is okay is yeah, I'm gonna say ridiculous. I mean, it may be okay. There's other aspects of your life that maybe moderation is okay. But when it comes to your diet and when it comes to the foods and the toxins and the medicines that you put into your body, abstinence is what is going to get you where you want to be. And it's a tough pill to swallow. And it's taken me a long time to realize that I have to be willing to just be done with certain sections of food. And once you can really understand that if I think of the bowl of Skittles analogy I've heard before. If you had a bowl of Skittles in front of you that had thousands and thousands of Skittles in it, and I said, go ahead, eat as many as you want, but one of those Skittles is poison and you'll die instantly if you eat it. Would you eat any Skittles out of that bowl? Or how many Skittles would you eat out of that bowl before you quit eating Skittles? Like, how long would you take that risk? Well, we do that, we do that every time we choose to put a little bit of bad food in our body. A little bit of something that could develop into cancer is not okay to put into your body. A little bit of something that can raise your blood pressure or cause your cholesterol or whatever, to mess with your blood, even if it does it a little bit, do you really want to take the chance? And we don't need to take the chance either. We have so many options available to us that it was probably hard to eat a plant-based diet 100 years ago, 200 years ago, but it wouldn't have been impossible. And the reason why it's so possible now is because we have this abundance of food at our grocery stores. Like, if I was living in the wilderness, we may have had to kill an animal in March to get through the winter. Like, that doesn't surprise me that might have happened, but it doesn't mean it was a necessity that it had to happen. And I feel like the food that I get to eat is just on it's an abundance of food. The bowl of salad that I had last night had 17 ingredients in it, and it was a large mixing bowl. It was half the contents of a large mixing bowl. So, let's see, Carrie here says, and it hasn't been because of my willpower as much as it has been the diet, in her opinion. Eating such a quantity of food changes everything. You can go back through my videos and you can look and you can see the foods I'm eating. I'm not BSing with these foods. In fact, I'm not showing you everything because I'm not taking photos of the second portions of food that I'm taking. I get the first bowl of Mega Veggie Chili. I take a photo of the first bowl of Mega Veggie Chili. I guarantee you every time we've had Mega Veggie Chili after maybe the third time we've had it, I've had at least 2 bowls of it. Or the bowl I've had of it has been so big that it looked like it was whatever was left in the pot. I did that the other day with the soup we had that had kale in it. It was one of those large Pyrex bowls that you would take a food to serve to a group of people at a party. And so yeah, like the volume of food is amazing. I'm not eating less food. I promise you, I'm not eating less food. Biggie says, you mean there's so many confusing information in the media about this diet, about like the diet that I'm eating, a plant-based diet? I think that all right. So Biggie, I'm curious, how are you eating? Because I know I asked you in the past and you were eating a keto diet. Are you still eating a keto diet, or what have you been doing? There's a lot of things that all these diet people are saying, but the one common thing that almost all of these diets, there's a few programs or diet kind of things, but the number one thing that the keto diet, the Mediterranean diet, a plant-based diet, the same thing they all get rid of is processed foods. Like that alone, if you can eliminate buying foods that are processed by other people, you're going to just drop weight in that alone. But and so I think that's the problem is everybody seeing that same success for that same reason, but they're putting it on the diets. They're saying my keto diet's the best, my carnivore diet, my Mediterranean, my whole food plant-based diet's the best. And to lose 20 pounds, they're all great because you got rid of the processed foods. And they all fail if you let the processed foods back in. And that's where I'm staying on my diet, and I'm not failing because I'm keeping the processed foods away. Let's see here. Jean says, Biggie, you can be Miss Canada in the privacy of your own home, day by day. Absolutely. Strut your stuff. This can be done because you can eat as much as you can tolerate. Yeah. And you say you are. That's great. So you said here, since you started following me, you've lost a lot of weight, which is awesome. Oh, yeah, I read this. So you're following my way of eating now, no oil, salt, and no protein. And you do not buy processed foods. You do cook your fresh organic food. Biggie, that's so awesome. That's great to hear that you're trying this out. I really am happy that you're trying it out. And I know it's crazy. Like, I had a huge fan base with my wife, and I was very fortunate that we were able to turn our house ourselves. We turned ourselves to this way of eating, and we didn't have to deal with the influence of other people. And I know it can be difficult. My best suggestion, because I don't know what you're having as far as people, but just tell them to give you a month. Tell them to give you a couple months. Be like, just give me a break for a couple months. Just let me do it. Like, you let me eat like shit for 5 years. You let me eat like crap my whole life. Just give me a couple months trying it this way. Could it be that worse? Like, how much worse could it be me sitting here eating broccoli and potatoes than me eating fast food every day? Like you got to be crazy. Like, just give me that couple months. If you had gotten injured, if you broke your ankle, if you had to be on crutches, if you broke your arm and you had to have a sling in your arm and you needed help for 2 months and you needed somebody to help you open the door, you needed somebody to help you in the house, would those people help you? The people that are criticizing, would they give you that help if you had an injury? Well, your obesity is your injury right now. Your diet issues is your handicap. And if they, that's great. My guys came into work today. They all got done with their job. They came in. The first thing he says to me goes, "You had broccoli today?" I was like, "Abso-freaking-lutely, I had broccoli today. I'm going to have it again tomorrow, and I'll have it Monday." And they love the smell of it. They all talk about how good the food smells. So that's awesome, Biggie. I am cheering for you and rooting for you, as I am sure everybody on the stream and everybody that's watching me is as well. So continue to let us know how it's going. Broccoli and potato is your new name. You know what? That's fine, because you don't want it to be fat ass anymore, right? I mean, I'm sorry. I don't want to be, I'm being a little, it's Friday and I'm being punchy. It's an hour into the live stream. So if you're listening to me this long, then you got to put up with it. Stephanie says here that she wishes she can clean up her environment even more, but your husband's not 100% on board with this way of eating. And it's tough. It's having that abundance of foods that you can eat. I say it every day at the beginning of my stream. I say, what are you doing that will make staying on your diet easier than the alternative? How are you making sure that you don't put yourself in a position where you either walk into an environment with temptations and you're starving, or you don't have food in your future where you can rely on that to be like, I have potatoes in my car, I have food in my freezer or in my fridge, all I have to do is microwave it. Have something prepared for your future. And for us, it's even something as simple as, I when I come home, I know I have oranges, whether Carrie has dinner done or not. There's oranges at home. So I don't need to stop at the gas station on my way, because there's oranges at home. And if there's not oranges, there's bananas. If there's not bananas, there's apples. That's, you have to set yourself up for success. And make sure you're an advocate for yourself as well, because, yeah. So yes, definitely, we're rooting for you. Carrie, yes, Carrie's nickname at work is Ida, because of the Ida potatoes, because of our daily potato habit. And she'll come walking into work with a 5-pound bag of potatoes, like people walk into work with a briefcase. And so, yes, my dad here at work calls my wife Ida because he thinks it's funny, and it is. Anyways. So yes, you're in a very exclusive club, Carrie says. You guys get to share the potato name. So, Yeah, don't worry about it. Like you're going to have the final laugh. If you stick to it, if you make it work for you, I'm confident that you'll have the final laugh. Um, and give yourself grace. Like I said, when you first start on a diet, it's just like being at your first day at little league baseball, or your first day at basketball practice, or your first day trying to draw, first day in art class, first day in music if you want to sing. Like when you start your diet, it's just like your first day. And if you were teaching a kid how to ride a bike for the first time or shoot a basketball for the first time, you would give them a lot of grace. You would give them a lot of patience, and you would try to help them a lot. So you have to give that to yourself. And you have to realize that, a month in, you're not an expert. 6 months in, you're not an expert. I promise it. It takes time for your brain to change. It really does. You want to think I talked about at the beginning, the neuroadaptation. You want to think it happens right away. You want to think you made it, but it takes time. And you convince yourself that you've got it figured out, so that you convince yourself you have it figured out, so that you then say, oh, I have control of this. I can do whatever I want. I can go off diet. I have control. And it's kind of false in that way. But yeah, just keep at it. And I lost my train of thought is honestly what happened. So which probably means, yes, you are what you eat. Yes, the fat you eat, the fat you wear. Or yes, the fat you eat is the fat you wear. Why would you need to eat more fat? I did a button example the other day. If you were a button factory and your button storage room was full to the brim, and you were still ordering more buttons in, wouldn't you stop ordering buttons in until you got rid of the ones you had on hand? And I think that's what we need to do with fat. If you are covered in fat, if you're swimming in fat, if you're drowning in fat, if you're suffocating in fat, why would you keep eating it? Like I torture myself. I watch people that are trying to lose weight through keto and carnivore dieting, just to see. I'm trying to find people that are doing something like I'm doing and still doing it 895 days in. But yeah, I see them eating fat, these fatty cuts of meat, and it's just like, well, that doesn't make sense. Why would eating fat be good for you? Like I could see maybe if they were saying to eat just turkey or something, but yeah, and the meat that we have access to is way more fat content than the meat that we would have in the environment. If you went and grabbed a squirrel, a raccoon, a rabbit, a wild deer, the fat percentage on those animals is far less than the pigs, the chickens, and the cows that we eat now. So, yes, we are what you eat. And Gene says, Biggie, just whatever it takes to get your legs or your taste buds ready for the journey. And Biggie says, we owe our body that. Seriously, I really enjoy your own body dressing the way you want with all the confidence and good looking. Yes. I feel great. I've been this whole week, I wore something that had a collar, I think, and I feel great. And, and I look at the photos, I need to shave, but when I was looking at those photos of me with a beard, and I realized that I think I look better, I look cleaner without a beard. And it gives me confidence, feeling that way, like maybe it was that I was hiding my double chin or my fat cheeks with the beard, and now I don't feel like I need to hide it anymore. And so, yes, those little boosts of confidence. But if you do have that snack accident, just make sure you eat a bag of steamed broccoli next, or eat a big bowl of potatoes, like, don't let it lead into another processed food. Let it lead into going back on your diet. And then, like, I'm happy that, what did I say? It was 227 days. I got my 227-day no salt, oil, sugar chip. And I'm looking forward to getting to 330. I'm looking forward to getting to 3,030. If that's, yeah, I'm sure it's possible. So, anyways, I should probably get going. It was an hour and 15. That's a long Friday stream. So I really enjoy having conversations with you guys. I appreciate everybody's feedback. I did have one question that I get asked a lot, and I'm just going to address it in the video. It's not really even an important thing. I get asked a lot if I had diabetes. I didn't have diabetes. I was never diagnosed with diabetes, and I don't know that I ever had diabetes. But I also never went to a doctor from 2013 until I was 3 months into this challenge. So I avoided going to a doctor because I was worried about getting that diagnosis or getting pre-diabetes or being diagnosed with something wrong with my heart. So I avoided going to the doctor. But I did have a large amount of swelling around my legs to the point where it was, there was probably an inch or so of fluid around my ankle and calf that, around the whole circumference of it, that I would push in with my finger and it would turn white and it wouldn't kind of go back to puffed up for a little while. And then I had some darkness around my legs that I still have, I think. Yeah. So I still have scars from, some of the sores that had developed on my legs. And that's what really, pushed me into doing the water fasting, was that I had these sores on my legs that weren't healing. And I had done water fasting before, and when I lost the weight, those sores healed. And then over time, they were coming back. And so that was kind of one of the things that sparked this challenge. So I was never diagnosed. I'm pretty sure a doctor would have at least told me I was pre-diabetic, probably even if my numbers weren't that bad. But I always held on to the fact that I never really had a bad blood test. So anyways, and so that also kept me from going to the doctor. Yeah, so I get asked that. I was never diagnosed. I probably was pre-diabetic or very close to being diabetic. And I definitely had other issues that, regardless of the diabetes, that I needed to do this to fix. So, let's see. Yeah, everybody have a great weekend. Yeah, everybody have a great weekend. I'm going to get out of here. Gene says, hang in there, Stephanie. Set boundaries with the other half. Find a compromise without giving up on yourself. Yes. I don't know if I think I read everything there. So yeah, everybody enjoy your weekend. If you haven't hit the like button on this video, hit the like button before you leave. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, get subscribed to the channel. Click on that bell icon so you get alerted when I go live or post new videos. And if you haven't started your diet yet, get started right now. There's nothing coming up this weekend. I know it's Monday. I'll start my diet Monday. There's nothing coming up this weekend that's more important than your health and your well-being. And even if you're dead set that you're going to start your diet Monday, what are you doing between today and Monday that's going to make it easier for you to stay on that diet? What changes are you going to make? What's your plan going to be? Don't just say it's going to be Monday. Oh, Monday's the day I'm going to do keto. Monday's the day I'm going to start eating plant-based. What does that mean? You have to start educating yourself, learning, kind of figuring it out. Don't just think that it's just going to happen, So get started now, guys. Everybody have a great weekend. We will see you on Monday.